everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinzel.
And Tom could not be on the show with us tonight, but we will still have his picks for later on. Good racing weekend at Martinsville. I don't know, it depends on how you look at it, with one of those races at least. But before we dig into all that, let's start off with our diecast of the week. Nico, what you got for us, buddy?
All right, so we're going to Darlington this week, and Darlington's always throwback weekend, and I thought I would bust out Trevor Bayne, the Mark Martin throwback. I think he ran this back in 2016 or 2017. Really cool scheme. The only thing I remember about this is that he blew an engine in this race, so it's kind of a bad luck scheme at the same time. But I always love throwback weekend, and back a couple years ago, all these throwbacks were just looking awesome. So yeah, paying tribute to Mr. Mark Martin.
Very sweet. Alright, so it is throwback week, but this car did not run at Darlington. It ran at North Wilkesboro, probably one of my favorite paint schemes of all time. Kevin Harvick throwing it back to his beautiful good wrench scheme. It was cool that RCR allowed him to run the 29 on a Stewart Haas Racing Ford Mustang. Just a cool tribute to himself.
Absolutely, that car was beautiful.
Absolutely. All right, so let's dig into our top stories. Carl Edwards is waving the green flag this weekend at Darlington Raceway. We know he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, so that's cool. NASCAR giving a nod to one of the greats, and he'll be able to start this race off for us on Sunday.
Yeah, it's always good when Cousin Carl's back at the racetrack. Been seeing a little bit more of him more and more lately. So it's just always nice to have him around.
Yeah, we know we won't see him in a race car again, but
No,
it's just nice to
we
have his
can
presence
dream.
at the track.
We can dream. We can hope and dream.
Yes, we can. All right, so the Cars Tour late model stock race, the Friday night before the All Star race at North Wilkesboro will be on FS1. Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick will be in the booth for that. That is going to be awesome. The Cars Touring late model series is one of the best oval racing series of all time. So I'm excited that it's going to be on big TV this week or
Yeah,
in a few weeks.
it's a really cool, big deal for them to finally be on the big screen, because I know all their other races you got to pay to watch those, and I've never really watched a Cars Tour race before, but hearing just how good, how competitive it is down there, I will definitely be tuning into that one, and it always makes it better seeing Kevin Harvick and Dale Jr. both being in the broadcast booth for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and they're both owners of that series as well, so it's
Eh?
perfect. All right, well, how about we get into Martinsville? Let's start off with the Truck Series race, and Nick, I think you might have some positivity coming out of this one. Corey Heim,
I had a great weekend.
yeah,
Great weekend for me.
Corey Heim won the pole, and he wins the first two stages. And then Nick, ballsy move with picking Luke Baldwin. He had a fast truck in practice, didn't qualify too well, but man, showed some speed, but he just had a rough debut, spun out a few times, got caught up in other people's shit. I mean, that's Martinsville with the Truck Series. You got to expect that.
Yeah, really tough track to make your debut at. But I mean, yeah, he got knocked around a couple times, made some rookie mistakes. A lot he's going to learn on for sure. But every time he got sent down, he just kept clawing his way back. So yeah, overall it was a solid debut for him, I'd say. And hey, man, he scored me points when you guys were clowning me for it. So love to see that.
Yeah, right. Ty Majeski gave Corey Heim a big push and spun him out. Corey Heim was having such a great day. And Majeski wasn't done here. Him and Caden Honeycutt wreck with 13 to go. And this all led up to a teammate restart with Daniel Hemric and Tyler Ankrum. Daniel Hemric was right behind him restarting. Gave him the old bump and run. Daniel Hemric took the lead. Nick, I was there with you. You were hoping and praying for no cautions. Never seen you that nervous watching a NASCAR race. But Daniel Hemric got his first Truck Series win, dude. How about that?
It was very nerve wracking because I've been in this position before at this racetrack with Daniel Hemric back in the Xfinity Series 2021. We were at that race and he had the lead with 7 laps to go. And Justin Haley brought a caution out because why wouldn't Justin Haley bring a caution out? But it felt so good to see that white flag come out and to finally get it done. It's nice to get one in the regular season for sure. And we're only 5 races in, and he's already got one under his belt. So now I'm just hoping that now that we got that one out of the way, go get some more. But always love seeing a Daniel Hemric backflip. And I thought it was going to cost him there. That dent in the truck, I thought it was going to cost him there. But it all worked out, and man, I can't believe it.
Yeah. Inspection took a little bit longer than expected, and you were getting a little nervous, but right when we got that tweet from Bob Pockers, it was time to celebrate. So cool for you, man. I mean, Daniel Hemric. I mean, that's only his second win ever in all top three series in NASCAR, so that's pretty huge.
It's just crazy that he got his first win for a championship before he got himself a truck series win. But hey, it's early in the season. We're only 5 races in, so it feels really good to be able to get out and get this one done early. So I'm not having to sweat it out all season if we're going to win a race or not. And hey, that was just good hard racing there with him and Tyler Ankrum at the end. That's just typical Martinsville racing. He didn't dump him. He didn't wreck him. He moved him out. The bastard wanted this win. So super excited for him. But man, does it suck to be Corey Heim. 2 weeks in a row, he should have had these races won. He had the power issues at Homestead, and then what happened with him and Honeycutt there. Corey Heim, he probably deserved that one a little bit more, but this is why we race. Somebody's got to take that checkered flag, and we were the ones to do it. So I will gladly take it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So good racing for the Truck Series at Martinsville. Not so much on Saturday. We'll kick off with the Xfinity Series here. Connor Zilisch won the pole. But yeah, this was the most disrespectful racing that I have ever seen watching NASCAR, man. This was just absolutely ridiculous. Nobody had any respect for each other. They were just running out there and just destroying each other's cars. They're not doing a bump and run. They're just tagging them.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it a little later with the finish. But man, just what some of these guys are saying in their interviews, it's like, oh, I didn't want to do it. Then why did you do it? Like, I get it. Really goes back to a lot of the system that we're in right now. I think the win in the end really generates a lot of the stuff that we see here. But yeah, this was not racing at all. This was just a demolition derby. And I really think Denny Hamlin said it best. Like, we have black flags for a reason. It's time for NASCAR to start using it, and we got to start penalizing these guys for just doing this dumb shit. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. They're not getting penalized for it, so why are they going to change the way they're doing it? But yeah, this lost a ton of respect. Really threw out all 3 series. Like, this is something you would expect to see in a marker race here, or even a truck race here, but you didn't really see that in the truck race on Friday night. But this was just it was a disgraceful race to watch, and just out of character for the Xfinity Series because we're so used to them putting on great races every week. This was by far one of the worst that I've watched for this series in a long time, and NASCAR has to do something about it. Otherwise, it's not going to change.
Yeah, no kidding. So Corey Day, man, he had a rough Friday. He also had a rough Saturday as well. He took himself and Harrison Burton out after sending it into turn one. They keep marking this kid as the next big thing. I mean, I hope that it's just nervousness from making these big debuts so young in his career. But so far, I don't like what I see out of this kid. I think we could have had some other better drivers in that 17 Hendrick Motorsports car.
Right. I mean, he was handpicked by Jeff Gordon and Kyle Larson. So you hope that somewhere down the road we're gonna start seeing some good results out of it. But yeah, it's been a really shaky start to his career, but he got a long way to go, a lot of learning to do. And he wasn't what he did was bad, but we'll get into some more of this dumpster fire.
Yeah, it ain't over yet. Connor Zilic wins stage one. That's his first stage win on an oval. And then Connor Zilic and Brandon Jones, they collide together after trying to avoid Garrett Smithley spinning out of turn four. So they got some pretty heavy damage after that. And thus began the bullshit of this race. Zilic still ended up winning stage two. Carson Quapple, I picked him for this one. He got caught in so many messes throughout this one. I thought he was going to be cakewalking in Martinsville. He is a short track professional, but man, he just got everything handed to him on Saturday.
Yeah, it's just a ton of bad luck for him to start the season off, and the results do not reflect about where he was running in most of these races. He's usually up there and he's running well. It's just he's young and we're only a few races into his Xfinity Series career, and they're going to learn how to put these races together and learn how to finish these races. But man, yeah, it's just been not the best finishes out of him, but we know he's got the speed because he's been up there.
Yep. Sam Mayer spins Christian Eckes and collects the 10, the 48, and the 11. To me, that looked like it was on purpose. He could have gotten off his ass, but he just stayed into him, wrecked him, and cost two other drivers a race. So that's stupid. Sam Mayer should have gotten some kind of fine after this one. There was only a couple drivers that had a fine. Last lap, Sammy Smith, man. This guy, I thought he was going to be doing really well in his career and not make moves like this. I thought maybe he was a little bit smarter. He's a few years into his Xfinity Series career. But Sammy Smith takes out the 54 going into turn 3. He was maybe 3-4 car lengths behind that 54 and just dove it into turn 3, took out the 54, and then came the chaos. Everyone was trying to fight and get through that bullshit to try and get to that checkered flag first. And lo and be fucking hold, it's Austin Hill, man. How do we always get so many shit races and then it turns out Austin Hill is the winner, man?
It's happened far too many times. He's just right place, right time, survived the chaos. But yeah, we wasted three plus hours watching a bullshit race just to have that guy win. That makes this race suck just a little bit more. But yeah, back to the whole Sammy Smith thing. That's just it almost reminded me of Richmond with Austin Dillon last year. Austin Dillon had no shot unless he did what he did, and Sammy Smith had no shot unless he did what he did. And then Sammy Smith, instead of apologizing for making the movie, he's like, "No, I know what I did, and this is why I did it. It sucks, but I had to go out and do it." Like,
yeah, you said Taylor Gray would have done the same thing. Like, how the fuck do you know that, man?
There's just no respect. The sport is losing so much respect, and until NASCAR does something about it, it's just going to keep happening. And if they're not going to do anything about it, the least they can do is to teach these kids a lesson. Is let somebody go up and beat this kid's ass like that. There was a lot of people who wanted to fight Sammy Smith after this race, and if we're not going to do anything on the rules side of this, you got to get it back to the old days where these guys would go up there angry as hell, get in each other's face, they throw a punch or two, and then, hey, move on. But nope, NASCAR's got that security guy posted everywhere. He's like a hawk. He knows where all the chaos is going down. He's ready to break it up. We met him last year.
Yep.
He's a cool guy, but get out of the way. We want to see some punches from him because that's
I told him last year, like, hey man, you gotta let the other guy throw a punch too. Like that was not fair what happened to Noah. But yeah, cool guy, but man, he's just on top of that shit. He's getting a good paycheck, that's for sure. If he's on them like that, he's on them like white on rice.
Yeah, that's just right. It's just one other way to, if you're not gonna penalize them for it, then let them work this out themselves. Like, I'm not saying beat the absolute hell out of each other, but do what we used to do. They would throw a couple punches and they would go on their way. But we just don't have that anymore because security teams and just pit crew teams are coming there, diving in there, and then we're getting people hurt. But yeah, this is just it was a disgrace, and I just wonder what Dale Jr.'s meeting at Junior Motorsports was like on Monday morning, and the earful that Sammy Smith probably got from him, because there were a lot of people on social media that were pissed off about this race, and Dale Jr. was one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Denny Hamlin too. He was tweeting that this race sucked. I mean, Mike Joy on Sunday, he said, Saturday's race, it wasn't the dumpster fire because dumpster fires are contained. That was perfect. I haven't agreed with Mike Joy in a long time, and that was perfect. But, dude, just coming in right now, Sammy Smith docked 50 points for taking out Taylor Gray at the end of the race. Fined 25 grand. Similar penalty to what happened to Cindric at Coda. And then Taylor Gray and Jeb Burton fined 5 grand for going into the care center to confront drivers. So I guess you can't do that, but I mean, docking 50 points, that basically takes away a whole race for Sammy Smith
right. 50 points is a lot, but is it enough? As that's what we could debate, discuss that, because I still don't know if it's enough. I'm thinking one race penalties. Like this, there's such an easy way to fix this shit. If you do some dumb shit, like we talked about this a couple weeks ago with the right hooking, like if you deliberately do some dumb shit, your ass should be sitting for a week. And then I think that really they might learn something from it, and they might not, but it's just something has to change, because these point penalties, they're obviously not doing a lot, because we've had it before and we still got guys out here doing it. So that something's got to change.
Yeah, something's definitely got to change. You hit it on the head earlier, and it's something that we've been discussing since they introduced it over 10 years ago, and it is the win and you're in. Win one race and you're in the playoffs. Wins are way more important than anything in the world to NASCAR drivers right now. And we have seen it time and time again that they will do whatever it takes to get that checkered flag first, even if it means dumping a couple drivers. And it's just got to come to an end. We're having drivers even make their way in where they have no business being in the playoffs. Look at Harrison Burton last year. Lucky win at Daytona. Cool win for the organization, but they got a playoff spot. They took a playoff spot from a team that actually was deserving of it, because Harrison Burton was like, what, 34th in points before that happened?
It was dead last.
Yeah.
He was dead last in points before winning that race. So pretty much what that means is, hey, you can suck for 2/3 of the season. You pull one out of your ass at the end, you're in. Welcome aboard. It's really bad. It's a bad look. And it's just something we like. Even just this whole winning in, what is done to these younger drivers, and just this respect that has been lost out of the sport. We were not seeing this 10, 15 years ago. We actually had drivers racing with respect, and it's just a totally different game now. And now it makes me wonder, what if Sammy Smith did go on to win this race? Does he get the Austin Dillon effect, where they say, you can keep your win, it ain't going to count towards getting you in the playoffs, but you can keep your win? That's just a question, I guess, or an answer we'll never know, because it didn't happen.
Yeah, that would be a tough one, because it wasn't as crazy as the Austin Dillon penalty last year, where he dove into turn 3. We've seen a lot of drivers do that. It has happened time and time again. But then Austin Dillon, went and right hooked Denny Hamlin as well. That is way more fucked up than what Sammy Smith did. I feel like it wouldn't have been as bad if Sammy Smith didn't be a complete jackass for his media interview, and just say like, oh yeah, he deserved it, he had it coming, and all that shit. I don't think he would have gotten penalized if he did that, to be honest, because we've seen drivers do this before.
It's just, we can talk about it all we want. Just something's got to change here, or there's just no end in sight for this. Every time we show up to the racetrack, we're gonna go and we're gonna do some shit like this, and it's just gonna get worse and worse until they do something about it. And poor Gray, man, 2 years in a row he's gotten screwed over at Martinsville. Happened in the truck race last year with, who was it, Christian Eckes, I believe, when they got into it, and this year, Smith, it got got to feel for him because I thought he was going to get that one on Saturday, and it would have been rightfully deserving. But yeah, Austin Hill, whoop-de-doo,
Yep.
congratulations. Cool for Dalton because he had a part of that. But I told him, I was like, that's cool for your company because you wrapped that car. But man, that was what really bad Xfinity race, and it's really disappointing because they put on good shows.
Yep. That was the worst race that I have seen probably since the Phoenix truck race a few years ago, the championship
Yeah.
race. All right.
Bad, bad, bad.
Yeah, that was bad. Well, let's get into Sunday's race for the Cup Series. Christopher Bell won the pole. And how about Penske having battery issues throughout the whole day? They had to replace the one in the 21 car, and then eventually the 2 came down. They had to replace that, and that battery went out as well, and they had to push him to the garage. Austin Cindric was done for the day, and that kind of blows, that kind of kills his momentum. Austin Cindric has been looking pretty stout this year, looking like he's really fitting in well in Penske right now. So that takes a big blow.
Just sucked for Josh Berry too. He's also been on a roll as of got that win we know a couple weeks ago, but he was having another good day, and then the battery just kind of took it out, and it's just weird that Austin Cindric gets pushed behind the wall because they simply ran out of batteries. They didn't have any more. They said, "Sorry, dude."
Guess we got to make more batteries, man. Holy shit. But one guy that was not having any power issues, Joey Logano, he won stage 1. Then your boy Denny Hamlin wins stage 2. And then poor Shane Van Gisbergen, he's got a loose wheel, falls off the car, so he is losing a jackman and a tire changer, suspended for 2 races for that wheel coming off. Pretty typical, but I still think it's not as bad as losing your crew chief, especially for a driver like SVG.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he needs his crew chief as he's still getting adapted to this because it hasn't been the best start to the season for him. He's having some growing pains here in the Cup Series, but we know him. You just keep coming back to these places; he'll keep getting better. So I don't think there's any reason to worry about him. But yeah, he's lucky to keep the crew chief. But yeah, unfortunate sight to see.
Yep. Tyler Reddick spins Ty Gibbs, and we get a little beef at the end. We get a we get a little fight of the short kings, I guess. Ty Gibbs on the radio, man, it was so funny. He was like, "Man, you better keep that little fucker away from me after this race." And be like, "You are literally both the same fucking height."
Yeah. What are we gonna do here? Go off, short king. Go off.
Yeah, right. Oh man, Ty Gibbs, he finally got his first top 15 of the season, so congrats. He's also had the longest streak in Joe Gibbs Racing without getting his first win. He just surpassed JJ Yaley, so JJ Yaley is a better Joe Gibbs Racing driver than Ty Gibbs, so I love to hear it.
Just even going back to last year, what an absolute abysmal run it's been for Ty Gibbs. Even a top 15 probably had to feel good because he's in something every single week, it feels like. And it's either his car's just flat out slow or he's involved in some kind of incident. And sucks. Sorry.
It's wonderful, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's why I said it so softly. I was like, "Oh, sucks." Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Hate to see it.
Oh well.
I'll get him next week.
And then how about Noah Gragson and Chris Buescher kind of getting into it? Chris Buescher, he wheel hopped and kind of slammed into the 4 car. Noah was not happy about that. He was waiting for him on the backstretch. Doored him a little bit and then just kept on going. So, all right, we got tempers flaring early to start the season with the old number 4.
Yeah, I was wondering how you were feeling in that moment because I know you had Chris Buescher last year for the money and you like Chris Buescher and then also Noah Gragson. I was like, I wonder what Ian's thinking right now that these two are going to go at it.
Well, we know who my number 1 is, so we know who I'm going to throw under the bus right away. We know whose flag I'll burn first. All right. And then, dude, Denny Hamlin, what a dominating Sunday. Led over half of this race and went to victory lane. And then he pulled the coldest move I have seen. bringing out that flag that says 11 versus the world. That was just absolutely perfect. He's got to make that, man. He's got to bring that out into some merch shops.
That's what it feels like. Nobody likes Denny Hamlin unless you're a Denny Hamlin fan. That's what it seems like. So really is 11 against the world. But man, oh man, like I said, it was a great weekend for me. First Daniel Hemric going to victory lane on Friday night, and then hey, Denny Hamlin getting his first win. Progressive on the hood. Love to see that. It was just a good day. He was dominant. He was the best car all day, and they executed. They made no mistakes. That's the first win for him and his new crew chief, Chris Gale. So we just hope to continue to build on that. But yep, and it was it just me? It feels like I don't know how it sounded on TV. I feel like he didn't get booed as much as I thought he was going to get booed. It felt like there was a little bit more cheers, but I'm sure that all went away once he pulled that flag out and said 11 against the world.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I was hearing a good amount of cheering going on. That was kind of nice to hear. But I also like Denny being the villain in NASCAR, man. So that's why he brought out the flag. Be like, let me shut their asses up for a second.
Just mess with the people even more. But he needed it. That's always good. This is his first Martinsville win in 10 years. So this is a track he's very good at. So yeah, it was a great weekend. Love to see the 11 car back in victory lane, and hopefully we can just keep the momentum rolling. It was picture perfect weekend for me, for sure. Love to see it.
Yeah, man, about time it started going your way.
Yeah. So what does this mean? I don't get another Daniel Hemric win for another 4 years now because this is how we went the last time.
Yep, but hey, this time it will be a Cup Series win, right? Right. We've already done the Xfinity, we've done Truck, and now it's only time to win that Cup race. So
go
move on over, Kyle Busch. Daniel Hemric's getting back in that 8.
Great weekend. Yeah, love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But someone who did not have a good weekend, Eric Jones, failing weight post-race at Martinsville. Having an abysmal season. I mean, Legacy Motor Club, they're just... but the team is not going to look at it. They're just going to let it happen. They knew they cheated. They said they apologized on NASCAR and all the fans, so damn cheating Yoders at it again.
I mean, yeah, Jimmy's cars don't have any speed in it already. He had to try and do something to help, and he got caught.
Yep, he got caught. But, guys, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be making our picks for Darlington this weekend, so stay tuned. Welcome back. We are going to be making our picks for Darlington Raceway this weekend. There is no Truck Series. They are off. So we'll kick off with the Xfinity Series. We got the Sports Clips 200 mile race, 147 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 45 laps each, and the final stage will be 57 laps. Our previous winners here, we had Justin Allgaier last spring and Christopher Bell last fall. We got some big notables in this one. 3 Cup Series drivers will be coming down here to take away the wins from the youngsters. Ross Chastain will be in the 9 for Junior Motorsports. Chase Elliott will be in the 17 for Hendrick Motorsports. And Christopher Bell will be in that 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. So I am going to be picking first. I got to go with last year's winner, Christopher Bell. I mean, Joe Gibbs Racing at Darlington in the Xfinity Series race. You always got to count on them, man. They always just bring fast cars here.
Man, you're taking the hottest driver in the sport right now, Christopher Bell. He's always a good pick. He can go win anywhere. And so, yeah, I expect him to be up there all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom will be taking Sheldon Creed. Don't ask me why there's 3 big Cup drivers in here, and he's going with the guy that's always finishing second. I mean, might
He's,
work out for him. Who knows? Could finish second
he
again.
said he said he believes. He said he believes. I believe that Sheldon Creed will get second place finish number 15.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
I agree with that. All right, buddy. So who's your driver for the Xfinity Series race?
Yeah, it's really hard when you come to a track like Darlington. It's just such a technical racetrack, and experience is always going to be in your favor here. And so that's why I am going to take one of the Cup drivers. I'm going to take Chase Elliott. It's just a very experience-based racetrack, I'd say, and I think it is him. Him and Bell are going to have themselves a battle all day, but at the end of the maybe Allgaier's going to get his sniff his nose in there. But at the end of the day, I have to go with Chase Elliott getting this win, and that's going to make Patrick go crazy in the grandstands at Darlington on Saturday.
Lord help me. Oh boy, I don't want to think about that. No, I'm fine with Patrick being happy, but not for those reasons. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Sunday. We got the Goodyear 400.
Here's what's really going to happen. It's going to be Austin Hill. Austin Hill's going to win, and you're still going to have to deal with that too.
Ugh, why are you doing this to me? I was
Austin
really
Hill.
looking forward to this trip, man.
Austin Hill, Chase Elliott, 1-2 finish.
Oh man, not ready for that.
Look out, streets of Darlington, if that happens for Mr. Patrick Cotto.
Oh man, he's gonna be on a tear. That's for sure. All right, well, let's get into the Cup Series race on Sunday. The Goodyear 400, NASCAR's throwback race. 400 miles, 293 laps. Stage 1 will be 90. Stage 2 is 95 laps. And the final stage will be 108 laps. Our previous winners here, Brad Keselowski broke that losing streak last fall. And Chase Briscoe got that win for Stewart-Haas Racing. I think that kind of solidified his contract to go over to Joe Gibbs Racing. The dude is just so good. I'm going first again because I just sucked this past weekend with all my picks. So I'm going with the guy who won here last time, Chase Briscoe. He is going to be in that 19 Joe Gibbs Racing car this time. We know that car is just bad fast wherever it goes. He is a good race car driver. He's going to get back in that seat. He's going to qualify, and he's like, yep, this feels like home, because this is where he kicked Kyle Busch's ass twice in the Xfinity Series in 2020, and then in the Cup Series race last year where he stopped Kyle Busch from getting 20 seasons in a row of winning. So Chase Briscoe is my winner for Sunday.
I mean, yeah, I would love to see it. And that would take a lot of weight and a lot of pressure off of his shoulders to get a win at Gibbs very early on in the season. And that would be a very fan favorite kind of win, I think. I think a lot of people would be happy to see Chase Briscoe go to victory lane.
Oh, absolutely, dude. So Tom is going to be picking the guy who should have won this race last year before Tyler Reddick came into play. Chris Buescher had such a fast car last year. Tom, I totally agree with you. I think that it's possible that either RFK cars can go to victory lane this weekend. I know Brad has had a awful start to the 2025 season, but if he goes back to a track where he has won before, I think he'll kind of get back into his rhythm and maybe go back to victory lane. But smart pick with number 17. So Nick, who's your guy on Sunday?
Well, I was originally going to go with Denny Hamlin, but then you said something when you were talking about Brad Keselowski about snapping winless streaks. And there's some guy over at Richard Childress Racing right now who has a very big losing streak going and would love to snap it. And he just so happens to be the guy who finished to Chase Briscoe last year here. It's time. It's rowdy time. I'm going to pick the 8 car of Kyle Busch. He's had some steady, good results this season. Last year, it didn't go his way for him and that entire team, and that entire organization just was not a good year for them. But they came out of the gates this year, just getting solid, steady runs together. And this is a track Kyle's very good at. And last year, they ran second here a year ago. So this car, if they can bring a setup similar to that, I know this race is being run during the day versus at night, but I just feel like it's time for another winless streak to be snapped. So I will take Kyle Busch to go to victory lane on Sunday.
Yeah, man. Good pick. I mean, he loves this track. And yeah, maybe this will get him back in the rhythm of winning again. But all I can say is I'm not ready to see another Kyle Busch win in person. I already saw all of his wins at RCR 2 years ago. Am I really ready to see? Yeah. So if he wins this weekend, it'll be all of them. It'll be every RCR win so far.
He needs you. Kyle Busch has not won at Darlington since 2008. It has been a long time. Damn. He runs well here, but yeah, he just has not been to victory lane here since 2008. But just the run he had here last year and how the season has started for them this year, they're getting better. They're getting good runs out of the car. They didn't have a great run at Martinsville last week, but he's ready to turn it around, turn the page, and yeah, go to victory lane. As much as that pains me to say, I think we need to see Kyle Busch win another race.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR doesn't feel like NASCAR if we don't have Kyle Busch taking a bow at least once a season.
It feels right. It feels right having him do a bow. He can just get one, and
that'll be it.
Just one, and he can get it this weekend. So I'll get the race winning points for it. So let's go, Rowdy.
Yeah, would be pretty cool to see a Kyle Busch win with Dalton in the stands. So.
Oh God, you're talking about Patrick with Chase Elliott winning the Xfinity race. I couldn't imagine Dalton in the crowd for Kyle Busch. I was there for Atlanta for the Xfinity race. I know how it goes. It's painful when your driver gets taken out because of it. It's painful. So just get ready for it.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for it. But guys, I think that will wrap it up here for us at the Stock Car Spectacle. Nick, you got anything else to add before we go into Throwback Weekend?
Safe travels, man. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm super bummed to not be able to join you guys, but we'll be looking out for you if Kyle Busch wrecks and we hear Dalton on the TV, just like back at Daytona. But yeah, have fun, man. You guys are gonna have a good trip.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I'm excited to get out to the Carolinas for the first time ever. So it's going to be one hell of a trip, and yeah, I'm excited. So guys, thanks for tuning in to the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, and check out all of our links down below. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
And I'm Nick Kinsel.
And we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy Darlington.